All right, a couple of tips on using the spreadsheet. It's just little stuff that might make your life a bit easier. Sometimes you'll get a situation where you can't see everything in a cell like that, and you want to see it all. So the easiest thing to do there is just on the top of the column at the boundary there, where you get this double arrow, you double click, and it'll just zoom out, snap out to the right size. Same with this one here, for example. Double click it and it'll snap out. Sometimes you want the opposite. You want it's too long, you have to read across the page. Um, Now, it's a bit tricky sometimes to get the edges of these columns. So when you zoomed into 100, it's very hard to find both ends of it. So if you go to view and change your view here to 75%, you might be able to find the other end and drag it across. But first, click on the whole column at the top here to select all that column. Go to Format, Text Wrapping, click Wrap. That way, instead of overlapping the end and going off the edge, when you shift the size, the text stays all visible and just bunches up like that. And it's a bit easier to see the text then. Zoom back in so it's easier to see. Something else that might be useful, depending on how you're using this, is sorting the columns. So if you want to sort it by gender, for example, click the top of that column where you've asked about gender. Usually I think you can just right click sort sheet A to Z, and it'll sort it alphabetical, so all the females, F comes before M, so they'll all be like that, and M will be like that. I prefer not to say it will be like that in order. And you can do the same with any of these. If you wanted to manually sort the generations, for example, you can do it like that, because they'll sort into different groups. If you want to select columns for a graph that are not next to each other, so say if you wanted to select the generations and then select what was their prominent religion, and you want those two columns, you click one column, hold down Control, click the other column, and then you can go to your graphing. Now that's not working because it's not a very good question to graph, but that's how you select the columns. That was a qualitative question, so there's no good way to graph that anyway. So good example. So wood. Anyway, hope you get the idea.